left. Welcome to the players left. Yeah. When no other moment, man, it can't compare.
Welcome to the 48-hour rule, a UteNation podcast. The 48-hour rule is now in effect. Everybody, welcome back to another edition of the 48-hour rule, a UteNation podcast. We're right after the Holy War, and it's kind of a subdued one this week. But we're gonna push through. We're gonna kind of talk about the things that need to be talked about, and just go from there and have a little bit of fun with it. So, your host Alex Markham, got Zack Moss on here with me as always. Zack, how you doing, buddy?
All good, man. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good, dude. I'll tell you, like, I am still exhausted from the entire last week.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say dealing with the fans, right? But dealing with the whole thing, right? And when I say dealing with the fans, it's like helping them with their emotions, helping them understand certain things, right? Which, your podcast that you did, the post-game one with Cal, was perfect for so much of that, But it's just that week was so nonstop, and it's just I still feel like it's kind of caught up to me, man. But and then along with us today too, we have former NFLer Josh Nurse. Josh, how are you, man?
Good, man. How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all for having me.
Good. Appreciate you coming on, man. You're in Germany right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. You got your better half, dragging you over there, her in the military and everything, man. So
thanks.
Sounds like she's looking out for you and treating you well. So
yeah, absolutely.
So we were gonna have Derek Tumayunga jump on as typical, but we're doing this at a little bit different time, and he was gonna be jumping on. Told me about 15 minutes ago that he was unable to make it happen. He had a thing pop up last minute with a client with the day job. So we will roll through without our guy, but man. So Josh, Zack and Zack's talked about it with Cal on the post game, like I talked about. I know you guys are kind of going back and forth a bunch on Twitter on Saturday. So take me through your emotions, your frustrations. That was a tough outcome to swallow, and for one very particular reason, even though the analytics weren't the only reason Utah lost, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always tough to swallow the BYU loss, especially like as a former player now, because while we was there, we never lost to them. So when you hope that the others coming after you would continue that and to kind of do the same. So just the fact that we haven't been able to continue that the past couple of years in the past few matchups, it can be a little bit frustrating. And then when you watch it in real time and you see where the team went wrong and stuff like that, that is the most frustrating part of it for sure.
Sure. Zack, you watched it from the stands and you watched it from the sidelines as well, man. A few days later now, being able to digest everything and all, any different thoughts, anything additional you want to say about it?
No, I mean, everything I said, I feel like was, pretty accurate, even with it just being, we were like a couple hours, not that long removed from the game. Like you said, like I was there. So like for me, I feel like I had like just a little bit different vantage point of like seeing also how the guys were reacting on the sideline at the same time. Like we talked about it on one of the earlier pods, like this game, like Josh said, like we never lost to them, right? But like, I was there for 4 years. So like my first year, obviously not being from Utah and then not understanding the rivalry. Like I probably never even heard the rivalry until I got there.
Right.
But like in 16, when we played them guys at Rice Eccles, like leading up to that game, even kind of just leading up that whole entire season, like we had guys that were from Utah, that had family that went to BYU or whatever it may be, right? Like kind of just taught you the impact of that game, like because it is an impact. It's not like a rivalry where like I'm from Miami, so like Miami, Florida State, like that's not even what it used to be. But this rivalry, BYU, Utah, has been probably it's grown, and it's probably even going to be even deeper now the next 15, 20 years, being in the same conference or whatever. But like, I didn't feel the energy. Like BYU, like the energy in the stadium was there. It's not, I wouldn't say it's an intimidating place to play, but it is a place that you got to figure out how to motivate yourself. Like it's 60, I think it was 64,000 people there. They said it was the most people they've had at a game since 2000, right? Like, it was perfect football. Everything was perfect. Like it was no questions on.
It was a good atmosphere.
Yeah, it was
really
a perfect atmosphere. Like I was like taking it all in, right? Because when you're a player, you don't get to do that. Like you don't really pay attention to all that stuff. Like, but like now I'm just looking. I'm like, yo, it's crazy in here. Like it's rocky for sure. But like I just feel like for us offensively, we don't have a strong passing game, and that hinders us a lot because now in football you got to be able to throw the ball, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, Utah has been built a certain way, defensively minded. Then you run the ball, control the clock, all those different type of things like that, which you could still win a lot of games. Like this team's still gonna end up, in my estimation, probably they'll be bowl eligible. They probably win 7-8 games, something like that. And you can win games like that, but to get where you want to get to, what this team has the capability of, I think that's what is more frustrating for everybody because the team does have talent. It's not like they don't got talent or, something crazier is happening like that. I feel like they got all the pieces essentially that they do need in this conference to make a run. But when it comes down to the passing game, like you got to be able to pass the ball. Like, like it's no more, for years, we've never really been known for a passing school, right? Like, and that's kind of why we've missed out on receivers for years. But like the first receivers you kind of go to, right? Like if you think about it, Utah history is like Steve Smith, Kevin Dyson, who we had on a couple weeks ago, right? Like
Brian Rowley, and that's probably a name you guys don't even know.
No,
he's
like,
all over the record book since the 90s.
Steve Smith and Kevin Dyson playing in Utah, where I was probably like 3 years old, right? Like legit, like that's the last couple names you can really just hit off the top of your head when you talk about impactful receivers, not like receivers that were good, but I'm talking about like impactful, right? So like you got to have that now, right? Like Arizona State isn't a good football team overall, right? But they got a dude that is nasty, right? Like certain schools just got these dudes like a Jeremiah Smith or the kid down in Bama, right? Like those are the guys essentially now that make the quarterback, right? None of those teams that I just named have a quarterback that is essentially a first-round pick, first-round talent that people are talking about. You're talking about the guy catching the ball, right? Like Dampier is a really good player, but at the end of the day, he's not a first-round talent at the quarterback position. So you got to figure out a way to make him look better than what he actually is capable of giving you. Like his legs, running the ball, dynamic. Like ain't nobody can mess with him and bother him and critique that. But when you talk about passing game and things of that nature, like it's a lot of room for growth there that unfortunately, right, last year it was injuries. This year it's the lack of the passing game that's just so, it just feels like it's arcaded. Like it just feels like it's like from the 2000s, early 2000s, where it's just like 5-yard routes, out routes, and that has to do with personnel and, obviously what the coaches are calling.
It's something that's kind of interesting with all this stuff is, you talk about the guys that, the difference makers that would have had an impact. You look at somebody like Devon Dampier, he's doing well in the NFL right now when he's gotten his time, right? And he really didn't have that impact at Utah. I mean, when he had the ball to him, right? He also had one of the best quarterbacks in school history, Cam Rising, and so you start looking back at that stuff and it's, and just trying to find the root of all these things. And what's different a little bit this year is, Utah talked about opening up the playbook and everything. They talked about throwing it more, even though we kind of felt like it was going to be more of a run emphasis, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, this year is a lot more, and I'll get to the next guy up potentially in a second here, right? But this year I feel like has a lot more to do with Dampier, as good of a quarterback as he is, and he's great with the running. He's got a high football IQ, right? He's great with the short and mid range throws, but again, Zack, we said timelessly, right, that when Utah faces a good defense, he's gonna float one of those balls and it's gonna finally get picked. And I said, I was like, it's gonna happen against BYU, and it did. It's one of the few plays that cost him in the game, right?
Yeah.
So question for you guys on this, okay, is obviously I just mentioned the next man up thing. Dampier was noticeably dinged up. I do know that there were questions on whether they should actually have Byrd finish the game, but they're going to ride with their guy. I mean, look, Dampier's impact goes outside of the box score. I mean, the guys rally around him, right? So that is an important element. But what percentage of Dampier would you say is the cutoff to where you're like, okay, 75% Dampier, I'm sorry, Dev, but gotta roll with Byrd?
I'll let Nurse hit that first.
Honestly, anything less than 85%, like I can't. Anything like, and 85 is being generous for me, because I think back in 2018, when we played BYU, I got hurt in the first quarter, and I think I like tweaked my ankle or something, and I tried to go out there, and I still tried to play, but it became a point where I think I tried to guard a receiver, and obviously the ball wasn't thrown to him, but I couldn't keep up with him, and it was just like, okay, like as bad as you want to play, as bad as you want to help your team win, and you want to be a part of it, it comes a point where if you're injured, you're gonna be a contributing factor to us losing. And I feel like once you kind of hobbling and whatnot, and because when you out there, you out there. That's always been the rule. That's what we've always said at Utah. Like that's how we've always treated other players and stuff like that. And that's what the other players expect from you. If you're out there no matter what. So if you're hobbling and you're not being able to go to the best of your ability, don't hinder the team. You know what I'm saying? Like as much as it may hurt you, and as much as it hurt me back in 2018 to not finish that game, I understood like, okay, I got to put trust in my brothers, and I got to let the next man behind me have his opportunity to shine and be able to finish this game and help us get the dub, which we ended up doing, which ended up being one of the craziest games I've ever been a part
Craziest
of.
game
But
ever. Oh my
yeah,
God.
but yeah, like it's just it's so vital to understand when it's time to put the team before putting yourself first, because as football players you have to be selfish to some degree. You know what I'm saying? There's individual success in football, and then there's team success, and you have to be willing to be able to sacrifice the individuality amongst yourself and how bad you want it in order for your team to win. And I think anything less than 85%, you should just call it and just play it on the safe side, because at the end of the day, this is not the final game of the season. It's not the first game of the season. Like you still got more games to play, and obviously Dampier is a guy that the team needs. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that. You have to relish in that, and see like, okay, my team needs me, man. They need me like later on down the line, and it's important for me to, you know what I'm saying, step back and let somebody step up.
Yeah. By the way, before Zack answers that 2018 game, nice of you guys to finally decide to show up with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. All right. So, and another thing before it kicks over to Zack, here's what's funny with that whole thing. Okay. So I was told, because obviously, the BYU game mattered, but it didn't matter when it came to like the overall outcomes, right? It mattered because rivalry and pride. But you guys were already in the Pac-12 championship game, right? You guys had all those injuries that year. And so literally what I had been told is that it was put to a vote on whether to basically play the majority of the starters or not that game. And that playing the starters barely won out. Just because it's like, look, like let's have everybody healthy and ready for the game that is going to absolutely matter the most, right? It's just wild to me, right? Because it's like, okay, you do that, it's gonna get back to the players. It doesn't matter how like locked and sealed you think a vote like that is, right? So as soon
Yeah.
as I heard that, I was like, "God, no wonder you guys didn't show up until 2 minutes left in the third quarter."
And another funny thing is, like at halftime, usually like when you getting your butt kicked, like we was getting our butt kicked, a coach is there, the drawing board. It was none of that. It was none of that. Coach Witt came in the locker room and he literally chewed the entire team out. And he was like, "Y'all better figure out a way to win this damn game." And he left. That was it. There was no talking to Scally. Oh, the team's doing this. We're gonna do this second half and switch it up. There was none of that. It was just figure out a way to win this game. And everybody kind of looked at each other and just shook their head like, all right. And then I don't know, it's like a switch
Yeah,
just
cool.
flipped and it was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a crazy ass game. Yeah, but to piggyback off what Nurse was saying, like you asked a question about what percentage for Dampier or whatever. To me, I won't even put a percentage on it. I'll just try to give a good intake, perspective on it. Is like his best offensive threat is his legs. That is his best offensive threat. And he's dealing with an ankle, right? Like, it's hard as hell to play football with a bum ankle. Like, that's just what it is. Like, it don't matter, and this is not the first time he's dealt with, I don't know if it's the same ankle, but he's dealt with an ankle. So it's like, obviously the picture got leaked, the Texas Tech game with this big ass thing on his ankle. And then now again, the BYU game now, they put the same thing back on his ankle. And like that brace isn't like, your regular brace. Like that's an extensive ass brace. Like that's more to me than just, oh, I'm just bruised. Like it's like, no, this thing needs a lot of help and then a lot of tape. So for me, if I know that he cannot run, right, all we got to do, and it obviously our offensive line has been pretty good overall throughout the year. They don't allow a lot of pressure, right? So like if I'm a defensive coach, right, like in this guy, your best thing that he puts a defense in binds is being able to get out of the box and then be able to scramble and extend plays. If he can't do that, even 50% of the game, then I'm just gonna sit in zone and make him pick us apart, right? Like, and he's not shown that on tape one time yet, right? Like he's not shown on tape when he's banged up. Like we talked about the Texas Tech game. Like a lot of people try to give him essentially grace or whatever, which is fine. But like a lot of people made a lot of, remarks about him being banged up and it not being really talked about a lot up into that game. But we saw that game. He couldn't throw consistently anything. And that game plan that for that week was terrible, right? So like for me, it's almost like a dream for a defensive coordinator to go against a quarterback like this who's banged up, right? Like it almost goes in Fick's favor to be the starter this week because you don't have tape on him. You have no real film on this guy, right? Like the way Texas Tech backup quarterback came in, where we weren't prepared for him, and he's kind of sliced us up because we didn't prepare for that guy, right? Like it's better if Utah does allow Fick to be the starter this week. Obviously, still, I think Dampier needs to dress up just in case shit gets awry, right? Like if things get crazy. Because Colorado isn't a bad team. Their record says they're bad, but they're not a bad overall team. They play some really good teams early in the schedule. To be a young team replacing all of those guys that they had from last year's team. But like it almost for me makes sense for Fick to be the starter this week because and obviously Coach Witt is doing it the best way, like he's always do it. Like we talked about, like releasing it at the last minute, right? Like just being, he rolled out this the guy now. Right now you gotta as a defensive player, coach, you gotta figure out like, oh shit, right? Fick can run. Obviously for fans, we don't know about the passing game for him, right? Like maybe the passing game is good enough and Dampier just hasn't been able to execute at a high level. Maybe Fick can make certain throws that Dampier can't, which would allow these guys like a Merriweather or a Davis to look essentially more explosive. So, for me, I think you go with Fick and you allow Dampier to still dress up because him not at 100%, even at 85, right? Like, it's not the same because you don't put no fear in the defense. Right. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, if I know you can't cut, stop on a dime, do this, all these different things on the football field, I'm not really worried about what you think you're going to do, right? Like, I'm not really worried about that part of things. Like, and all it's going to take is one fall on the ankle. Like, that's all it takes is one fall. Like, all it takes is one fall, and, things get ugly. So, for me, just go with Fick. Hopefully, they've been putting them in indoor, right? Not allowing media to be around and getting any film on him, and just, like, let him be the quarterback on Saturday night. And just let him roll, because that gives you the best opportunity to win, because there's no film on this dude, right? Like, they don't know what his weaknesses are. We know what Dampier's weaknesses are, and I don't watch film on him. I just watch the game. So imagine if we watch some film and actually understand what their concepts and what they're trying to get to and accomplish. So for me, just let Fick be the guy this week. A lot of team to rally behind that. Dampier has been banged up all year. Really, like that BYU game, he was getting crushed. Like, I'm talking about, he was taking some hits. Like,
it was a Utah style defense that, like, I'm sorry, fans, that was a fun defense to watch.
Oh yeah, they were flying around like the safety hit one dude on the sideline in front of Witt. And I'm like, yo, I was on the sideline. I seen the hit, right? I mean, if he catch it really don't really matter no more, game over. But still, like, the fact that he hit him that hard and he did not want him to catch that ball, and he know this catch don't even matter right now, tells you what they thought of this rivalry and the turning point that we talked about, right? Like, on the recap pod, like the turning point, right? Like, this is the part where, like, I want to get your thoughts on this, Nurse. Like, people not understanding. Like, this ain't just the rivalry game win-loss. This is the rivalry game, win-loss, plus NIL money, plus conference, plus knocking you out of the championship game, and plus playoffs. Like, this thing got way more attached to it, right, than it's ever had. And, like, I was harping on it last week about, like, yo, losing this game, you just lost so much NIL money from donors.
Yes.
One. Two, you just lost so many players that you don't even know, that's going to be like, you're going to lose them out your own locker room, one. Like, we're not going to sit here at the end of the year and be like, oh, this guy's going to – it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to lose recruits from NIL stuff.
It's funny you say that, because there were two recruits that are commits to Utah, the twins, the 4-star wide receivers. They were in BYU's locker room at the end of the game when BYU celebrated.
Hey, that's what happens when you lose that game.
Yeah, man, right? It's a different field. It's a different field now. Like, I was telling this one fan on Twitter, and he was like, "What do you think the problem is?" I'm like, "Bro, you in this era, you got to pay to play now. Like, that's what it is. You have to pay to play." And then if the donors spend money and then they see that their spent money isn't money well spent, they're not going to spend it anymore. That's just the reality of it. So like Zack was saying, like, when you lose games like that after donors have spent money, and then you have big time recruits show up to these games and they're expecting to see a certain level or a certain caliber of football from you, and they don't see that, everything is up in the air now. You know what I mean? And it's pretty much out of your control. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes the landscape of college football so much tougher now, is because, all it takes is, like, literally, like Zack was saying, one game. Like, there's so much attached to these games now, and especially just that game. Like he was saying, you got NIL, you got championship playoff spots, because the playoff is expanded now. So it's actually much more reachable than it ever was for us, and we almost made it, you know what I'm saying, at one time. And it's hard to be top 4, you know what I'm saying? But to be top 12, it's very achievable. So, but
Right.
when you squander opportunities like we did this past weekend, it changes a lot of things. It changes the future. You know what I mean? It changes the future of your recruitment. It changes the future, like Zack was saying, what your donors are willing to offer, and that changes your roster actively each year in and year out. It changes your roster. It changes potentially your coaching staff. You know what I mean? Like, it changes a lot of things, and unfortunately it's out of everybody's control. Players, coaches, staff, like everything.
Something I'm really curious on asking you guys, because again, look, draw back to things on BYU. I mean, we talk about their defense. It's easy to notice also just like the enthusiasm that the players, the coaches, that program has, right? Utah has always been a very business-like approach, right? But at the same time, there's been those fun elements to certain things through the team, through the coaches, through whatever, right? To me, and I'd love to get you guys' take on this, and maybe like you guys can kind of sit back and see like maybe where certain things have changed or gone wrong, whatever, right? And I'm not saying it's like I'm not saying all hell is breaking loose, right? I'm just saying like there's noticeable things, and especially just watching it between the two stark differences from those two teams in this game, right? What have you guys seen with kind of that stuff that I've been talking about? Because if you ask me, it's kind of gradually changed over these last 3 years, even.
When you say change, what are you saying? Like it's like
Just
like
the vibe of the vibe of the program feels a little different.
The tenacity. I think it's the tenacity of the program.
How certain things are gone about.
Like the process, essentially.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
We could pinpoint and say obviously NIL and all the transfers, but other schools are dealing with that too, right?
I mean, yeah, okay. That's why I was asking, is like exactly to pinpoint in my mind. For me, it's easy. Like, I don't know the last time you've been up here, Nurse, but like they don't have a pit anymore. They don't have a pit anymore. You see his face? Right? Like they don't have a. I'm telling you, they do.
You talking about the pit, like the pit outside of the indoor, the pit? They don't have that.
So like no. So it's like it's almost NFL ran essentially now. Like when you banged up, you injured or something like that, right? And practice is happening, you go inside. So the first day I came back out here, which probably this year, the first time I went over to the school, because last year I wasn't able to come to a practice. I just went to one game. So this was the first year I've been to a practice in like probably since I've left or something like that. So I come to the practice and I walk through the weight room, right? And I get there, practice is technically already started. So I walk through the weight room and I see dudes in, with black shirt, red pants, whatever you got on for the weight room. It was like 6, 7 dudes, right? I'm thinking, first thing ran through my mind is, oh, those probably like, somebody else using the weight room while we not, right? Like, I don't know what sports they got, baseball or some shit, right? I don't know. So I walk outside, and I look at those dudes, I'm like, whatever. I go outside. Everybody's out there. I look over to the pit area. This, remember the thing Argus used to have us on working on?
The pull-up bar, yeah.
None of that there. I don't see none of these big-ass rocks. Like, nothing. So I don't really pay attention to it. I forget somebody told me, somebody told me, yeah, they don't have a pit anymore. And I was like, they don't got a pit no more. Yeah, he's like, yeah, they just go inside. Like, if they heard something like that, they just go inside. I'm like, bro, what do you mean? Like, when we was hurt, banged up, anything, like, if you just got hurt at practice, like, if you just got hurt, and one of the trainers, Joe, or whoever it was at the time, deemed, yeah, you can go over to the pit, or you was going to the pit. Right, like we tried really hard to not go to the pit. Like we would figure out a way to push through that injury, so I don't need to be in the pit, right? Because the pit wasn't fun because Coach would have you put on all your gear, cleats, right? Like the whole nine, as if you was practicing, but you finna go over here in this hot ass sand and be lifting rocks, doing all type of crazy stuff. Like say you had a chains, pulling the chains, whatever. Like, say you hurt your knee, or say it's your right knee, right? Like, you just got some small little knee injury, nothing crazy, right? Cool. He gonna have you sitting on the wall doing squats on the left knee. Like, it was that crazy. And for us, by the time we got to that stage of the pit, right? Like, that started with Urban Meyer, right? That started with Urban, and you can only imagine what that was like in the early 2000s, right? Like, obviously, football done got watered down a ton. So, what we talking about, maybe somebody who watched this that played for Urban or Coach Witt back in like 2008, 7, 9, right? They're going to be like, you worried about that. Like, who knows, right? But like, even when we went to stadium, like we used to be in the corner over that stadium. Like if you was hurt,
Oh yeah.
like, that's what you're doing. Like you were always on the field somewhere. Like they don't have a pit, right? And obviously, I think for us, we understood what the culture was like. And I think I can't remember who told me this the other day. I think may have been you, Alex, at the same time. I can't remember who exactly it was, but it was the saying where we're not going to become you, you're going to become us, right? Like, and when I first got to Utah, I pushed the limits to try to make it my way, right? Like Coach Witt used to make sure that I didn't have it my way, essentially, and I wasn't trying to do nothing crazy. I was just like, man, I don't feel like doing that stretch, so I'll just skip through the stretch or something like that, right? Like, and like he'll have us run, right? He'll have us on the sideline do some quick little gasses off of something like that, like. And now I highly doubt that Coach Witt is, locked into those guys on that level, right? Like there's no pit, there's no certain things. So when you talk about like the accountability, like the process, like understanding that, right? Like I talked about it, or Cal was the one who mentioned that because I said on the recap, I walked through the locker room at the BYU game to use the bathroom, right? Nurse, first dude I see. First bag I see is somebody got a Gucci bag in there, right? Like you knew when we went to away games, Under Armour. Like everything is Under Armour.
Yes,
like
team gear.
It's ugly, but if you ain't want to wear it, you ain't got no choice. Like everything, like these dudes had different bags, different shoes. I was like, damn, like not that I want to do that because it never ran through my brain really, but it was just the fact that I saw those small little things. But for us, like the way we got coached, the way what we were in the program we was in, that is a big difference. Even those two teams that won the Pac-12 championship games, like I highly doubt that those dudes was doing something a little bit different. And it's not really a knock on these guys, but it's a small little look into things and be like, yeah, okay, the program has changed, and maybe it's trying to change because when you look on social media, right, like you see all these dudes, right, they live in a certain way, so it's like, do you want to be that program, right, that's not allowing guys to be X, Y, and Z, right? Like programs that might have made you wear suits probably don't make you wear suits no more, right? Like all those little different things is like, but it has changed. Like those are like two small things that hit my mind. I was like, damn, they don't got no pit no more. Like shit.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm not gonna lie. I did because I went to the BYU game last year. And when I went to practice, because I got there on a Thursday, I didn't get a chance to go to practice that day because the airline had left my luggage in Denver or something like that. So I had to deal with that. So I went to the Friday. The Friday practice ain't nothing. It's quick, easy, and fast and out. And they don't, they're not doing no pit stuff on Fridays like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that they don't have a pit anymore, that's mind blowing. Like that is mind blowing to me. Like, that right there says a lot. That says a lot, bro.
A ton.
Like that says a ton, like about how much things have changed.
And
something
the
that's been
pit's
15
legendary.
plus years.
And like you were saying, like the pit, like it could be snowing, rain, hail, sleet, or snow. You're in the pit. You're gonna work. Like, okay, you hurt, all right, well, you're gonna find a way to work what's not hurt until what's hurting gets better. The fact that they don't have a pit, that's mind-boggling to me. I can't even wrap my head around that at all.
NFL, sure, you hurt, you stay in, whatever. You ain't even gotta come to practice. Like
street clothes, whatever.
Yeah, it's like whatever. No pit. I was like,
no pit.
Damn.
It's
NIL got this thing crazy. Because if you think about it, like put yourself in one of these kids' shoes. You getting NIL money, you talking about I gotta be doing this pit stuff. Oh, I'm gone. I ain't even worried about coming back next year, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like when if you knew you was hurt going into practice that day and you know you gotta go to the pit, you like, come on, bro. Like just in your head, just the whole day is like, oh, man, I gotta go.
You think about the pit. What he gonna make us do today?
18 periods.
Yeah, for 18 periods. You outside the whole time.
And
you got
don't be in the pit in fall camp. Like it was a
gruesome
time for sure.
It was gruesome. There was no, and I feel like now there's this sense that there's an escape route from
Oh
the
yeah.
toughness. You know what I'm saying? So it's like no pit, that's an escape route. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm not playing enough, I'm gonna transfer. That's an escape route. There's all these avenues of escape. And that's what's changed everything, is because it's like, oh, this is not going my way, I'm leaving. Or this school offered me more money and I don't have to go to the pit, I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
and people they constantly ask, how do you compete with that? And I'm just like, to be quite honest, if I was a coach, I wouldn't want to compete with that. Like, I don't want nobody that don't want to be here. Like,
Yeah.
and Utah has always made that known. Like, if you want to leave, bye. You could be 5-star, have a composite score of 100, and they will be like, bye. Like, we and doing that now is different than doing it like how it was when we was there, because
yeah.
obviously the rules is different. You had to sit out a year and XYZ and whatnot, but now you can almost transfer during the season now. If your coach get fired and all of that stuff and whatnot, they have a rule where you can transfer and stuff like that. It wasn't none of that. It was none of that 6 years ago.
Yeah,
None of that.
transferring now isn't fear. Like if you transfer, you can transfer 4 different places. Like I'll watch a game. I mean, I watched a game like the first couple of weeks, maybe first 2 weeks of college football starting, and like this dude quarterback is on his third team. I'm like, yo, third team? Like I couldn't imagine like picking a school when you coming out of high school. You was like, yo, okay, I gotta make sure this the right fucking school, like,
Yeah,
because I don't got a time to sit out a whole year away
exactly.
from football just to go back and hopefully play. Like,
Yeah,
now it's like it's like almost like basketball in a sense. Like you got
yeah,
6 months and you can get up out of there. You can go somewhere else, right? Like you don't really have to, and that's hard because you don't build, lifelong friendships. You don't build that teammate chemistry. You don't build
yeah,
all those different things. Like, yeah, you might be able to build a small piece of it throughout the season because the season is however long it is, and you got nights where you can hang and do all that type of stuff, whatever. But like when you there with the same dudes year after year, right? Like, and you going through that grind every single day with those dudes, 6 a.m.s, like all that
hmm
stuff. If I just only do that with you one time, yeah, I'm gonna remember you. We're gonna be cool, but it's
It's
a
not
different
gonna hit the
vibe. I done did
same.
this with a dude for 3 years, right?
hmm
Like I got 3 years out of this doing these same morning runs, going to what's the park that we used to run the hills at?
Sugar House
Sugar
Park.
House Park, like on a Friday, you earning your weekend, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like
hmm
all that type of stuff, which I'm sure they do still, but then at the same time, like a lot has changed because of one, NIL, two, sports science, right? Like they got all that stuff out there now. Like I
Yeah.
think we got catapults junior year, 2018. Before
hmm
that, there was no catapults. Right.
You're right.
You know, like,
It was them, yeah, 16 periods, go in the locker room, drink your smoothie, and get ready for a 17 period practice.
yeah, like it was just like it
hmm
was just go, 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 go. Like it wasn't no, oh, he got a load. That's how much load on his leg. Or okay,
Right.
watch his reps tomorrow, right? Like all those different things wasn't there. Like now, obviously, those things have gotten fine-tuned over the last 6-7 years, whatever it's been, and
hmm
people know how to use it. And not to say it's a bad thing, because I think obviously there is some good in that for sure. But like at the same time, it's like when you have a certain program, like how Utah is and how they've always been, has been they go this way. And as I'm sure you can remember a lot about the old teams where they just keep getting all these damn injuries, right? Because they went so damn hard for so
Right.
long, then they get injuries at the back end, right? So that's the part where, yeah, it is good that they have this so they can tailor and see. But if you are a very constructive way and then you try to like tail off a lot, you don't know almost how much to do it, right? And it's a point where you got to figure out, okay, where is this good space for me? Like, where's the balance for myself? And I feel like they still get a lot of injuries right now because maybe they ain't doing enough, right? Like, I don't know
hmm
that for sure, but it's like maybe they were doing too much. Now they doing not enough. So like you got to figure that out at the same time too. And that's like, you just have to figure that out. But for me, really is this team is good. They got the talent. The coaches keep recruiting at a good level. It's just now with the in-state stuff, with how BYU is doing what they're doing, like, bro, they got a lot of money. Like, you gotta just call it what it is.
They
like,
do.
They got a lot of people in the state who are influential in sports right now. Like, obviously the Jazz owner, he's the hockey team owner. I'm sure he's gonna be a baseball team owner here at some point, right? Like, you got the Crumble dude, right? That just he was gonna pay for the fine, and then they didn't get fined. So now he's saying, I'm just gonna put it into our NIL players. He's gonna take that $50K and just throw it at the NIL players, right? Like, and you can just do whatever you want to do with it, or I think it was something else that I can't remember. But it's
That's crazy,
right? Like, when have you read anything? Right? I don't know. Maybe you have, Alex, but like, when have you read anything about a donor, right? Doing anything on those? Not even that level, like, just take a few steps down, like doing something like that. Like, where is essentially NIL money coming from the players at the U to be able to compete and stay up there? Like, Coach Witt said it himself. Like, when you take a look, at the end of the year, when you take a look at the conference standings and the playoffs, it's going to be NIL payout. That's all you're going to see. Where are the NIL payouts, and those are the teams that's going to be where they at, because you got to pay to play. You can't sit in your pockets. You can't sit in your hands, right? Like, talent matters. And if you got good talent and good coaching, right? Like, obviously, like Penn State got good players. If they don't feel like the coaching is there, they let a dude go because they paying a lot of money.
What was his buyout? Do you guys even remember? It's nuts.
Oh,
I want to say
it was 50 or 50, I think I want to say it might have been 62.9 million or something like that. But
yeah, like,
they're willing to chuck up $62 million.
They like, hey, bro, we'll give you this 60, but we got way too much money in a school like Penn State, those alumni, right? Like, giving back, whatever, and then they put it into these players. They almost like, hey, man, we got to figure it out.
Put it into perspective for you guys, okay? This is something I heard the other day. To make that 20.5 or 22. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but the revenue, okay, for this year for all the sports, basically the university ended up hitting points of cutting certain things. Like, there were certain things taken away from the coaching staff as perks, just to make up and get some of that there, so that's Utah struggling with it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know Rob Clark and those guys are doing a phenomenal job with, where they had to pick up the ball and keep going. Okay. Matt Garf did a great job, even just getting the collective off the ground. But the problem was Utah was so careful with how they did anything NIL wise when it first came out, because they didn't want to get in trouble. Like, granted, I can see why to an extent, right? Because you just didn't know when things were changing almost on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, I mean, now you sit back and you take a look at it, all these teams that skirted the gray areas, they're pretty much fine,
Thanks.
and they're benefiting and they're not in trouble.
But Coach Witt is a coach, not to cut you off, but like, Coach Witt is an old school coach.
Right.
Like, if you think about all the old school coaches, right now, they're not coaching really right now. Like, obviously Saban got out because he saw what that was and saw what that was going to become. And then you're talking about dudes at Alabama, or what they going to be asking for, right? It's going to be crazy, right? Like, so he saw what that was, and he's a certain type of a coach. And I feel like Coach Witt is from that cloth of no nonsense. This is how we do stuff. There ain't gonna be no individualism. Like, if this is what the equipment staff picked out for you to wear, that's what you wear, right? Like, you're not putting your own sauce and swag on a lot of stuff. And you're gonna have to really, really work hard to figure out a way to divvy this up, right? Like, you see, Bama never was like, oh, let's get custom unis or do this or do that, right? Like, none of that stuff, right? And for me, I feel like Coach Witt is like in that realm of coaching, just super old school, super strict, super a certain way. And it's almost like a military type. Now, when you don't have that structure, you're not able to have that structure on these players, because these players are different, from 5-6 years. Like, if you have siblings, right, and you got 6-year gap between you and your sibling, oh, that's a whole different person. Like they don't. It's a whole different world for them versus what it is for you. So look at it like that in the football realm. Like how we look at stuff, we could be considered that last tier of old school football. That last tier, right? Like these kids now, when they coming up in football, they getting taught about targeting, right? They getting taught, oh, you got to get up off the quarterback when you sacking them, right? Like so football has changed in a lot of different ways, and it's small, but it starts when these kids are young too. But for me, like they were super careful, right? Because Coach Witt don't know nothing about NIL. Coach Witt also wasn't a head coach in the NFL, right? Like Saban did 1 year of it because he was in the NFL. He understands what pay scales and all this type of different stuff and try to kind of handle all that. But when you're talking about giving all this money to 18, 19-year-olds, now they start coming late to meetings and they start coming late to the weight room and, all these little different things that you used to be able to have them, right, with like a vice grip almost. You can't do that no more. Like you gotta relinquish that. Like, you gotta give up you gotta put some slack on that chain. Like it ain't gonna be, I got them and they gonna listen to me and like they look at you in a certain type of light. Like you get certain players like that, yeah, maybe because how they raised or whatever it may be in that sense of nature, right? Like, but a lot of dudes, bro, man, look at here, like, like, come on, you give some dudes $2 million. Right, like you could probably pick 2 dudes right off the top of your head that we played with 18, 19. You get them $2 million, how they gonna act in college? It's gonna be ridiculous.
Absolutely,
like, it's gonna be crazy. So like now, put that into now where social media is everywhere, every day, right? Like we didn't grow up with social media like crazy hard. We grew with it, but we didn't grow on it, right? Like. These kids grow on it. Like their moms making them, their dads making them Instagrams when they 9 years old, right? Like different things like this. So it's like that's a part of like the mindset that people not really understanding too. It's like, bro, some of these kids, they in a different world right now where that amateurism where you feel like you also had to earn everything. And this is not talking about our players, obviously, but like just the landscape. Where you got to earn everything, where dudes doing extra, right? Like I remember dudes used to be doing extra, like extra, like okay, let's go get one in before this class, or let's go do this right now, or like spring ball, let's go get more work in, let's go over to the stadium by ourselves and do X, Y, and Z. I got $2 million, man. I don't know about the extra, man. Hey, bro, we go to the mall, or let's shoot down to Vegas. We ride down to Vegas real quick or something like that. Like it get different on how you finna spend your time in Utah when you broke versus when you got a little money in your pocket, right?
Exactly.
So it's like all of those different things you got to take into account because it does matter. And again, like this is not to talk about our players, just the landscape of what NIL has done and how it has weakened when you talk about like that camaraderie, like. I got your back in an actual family, right? Like all those different things. Because when you play, it's hard to play. You can't play football 1-on-11. You can't. I don't care how good you is. Like if you don't got other dudes on the same type of time as you, locked in with you, on their playbook and executing when they supposed to be where they supposed to be, right? Like if nurse, if you're a corner and your dude ain't your linebacker ain't getting to this flat, help you out in this flat, right? Like all that matters. And that's different timing from when guys are able to put in that time, like just by themselves and not just when you got to be there, right? Like NFL is a lot of just when you got to be there because it's your job, right? And colleges felt it was always a different vibe. Those two different things. But, yeah, it's a different world right now. But Utah, I think, obviously with NIL, with the pockets, you got to catch up with the times. Obviously, I don't know details on that, but like you got to get with the times on that because that's the only thing gonna keep you relevant. Like great coaching staffs, which you've had forever, right? Like the great coaching staff stuff can only almost get you so many wins now if you don't also have the pocket to go with that. Like gotta have the pocket to go with that.
Josh, so before we kick into some of the Colorado stuff, man, Zach and I can just go and go and go. And so
trust me,
it's gone from anywhere from like 52 minutes to yeah. So like flare up to, dude, I think we did one at like an hour and 25 or something, right, Zach?
Yeah. We be rolling sometimes for sure.
And it's always fun conversation, man. So, dude, we'll love having you on this whenever you can jump on it, man. But
Yeah, for
dude,
sure.
so before kicking into some of the Colorado thoughts and everything, I mean, what are some of your thoughts just from the season so far, and especially that BYU game? You know, I know Zack kind of mentioned the stuff with the pit and the NIL and everything. I am still kind of curious from your end of it, because I mean, granted, you're in Germany right now, but you still you know, have that insight and everything from being a part of the team, and you can see different little nuances, right? What you might be seeing that could be a little bit different as well, but. Yeah, just any piece you want to say on any of that stuff, and then let's kick into Colorado real quick.
Yeah, number one, we got to find a way to pay to play. That's just the reality of it. I don't know where it's gonna come from, who it's gonna come from, but we have to figure out a way. That's just that game, the atmosphere, the chemistry that BYU played with, the energy that BYU played with. Everything showed, and we have to find a way to. We got to find a way to match that. That's what it's always been. We've been above them. They've been above us. It's kind of like it's almost like a cycle. Like it always goes back and forth, back and forth. We got to figure out a way to even the playing ground. And yeah, like as far as NIL, I kind of wanted to piggyback earlier as far as like with a lot of guys like with the potential of people transferring, because I've seen people was talking about the kid Daniel Bray, I believe is his name, the kid that had 121 yards on 10 rushes and scored a touchdown. And there's like his retention is Utah's priority and whoop whoop whoop. And I'm just like, I mean, if the right person come with
He's
the
had
right amount,
two games too. That's what's crazy.
yeah, for sure. But if the right, it's like, what can you do? We got to figure out a way to match that. We have to figure out a way to compete with that, because that's just the reality of it. Like that's our number one priority. And I stayed up. Utah plays late, and for me, that's like super late. It's 2, 3 a.m. over here. I stayed up to watch that game.
You was
I
hot.
stayed up. I said I'm gonna stay up to watch this BYU game no matter what. And just watching it, especially from a defensive standpoint. Obviously, we already talked about the offense not being, or just being one dimensional, not being able to pass the ball. But from a defensive standpoint, they played great. They played great as a unit, but like when Lander got ejected, obviously, you could tell, like, okay, you could tell, like, there's some people, if you're a backup, so there's two ways people treat being a backup. Yeah, I ain't gonna play, or when I get my opportunity, I'm gonna shine. And to me, I can just tell who doesn't watch film by the processing speed of which they diagnose a play. Like the kid 11 scored on a jet sweep, and he had the ball, and the linebacker that replaced Lander was still looking at the quarterback. And it's like, if that's not your key, you shouldn't even be looking. Why is the linebacker looking at the quarterback? You got the running back, or you got some tight end. You're never looking at the quarterback. And what I'm saying, I understand that. Like I played safety at Utah, and that helped me understand what everybody else is doing. So that was a noticeable thing. And another thing too was it's just the tenacity of the defense. Like the defense is still sound and still fundamental, which helps, keep the defense what it is. But the tenacity is what's kind of, the flame is dimmed down just a little bit, and we got to figure out a way to kind of reignite and spark that flame again.
The whole defense has had issues with tackling. What do you feel like has been the problem on something like that? And I don't know what could have been. I mean, obviously they've changed stuff up in fall camp and everything, right? But at the same time too, we're this far into the season now as well. So it's mind-boggling, just like you guys were saying.
You know what might be, because it's funny. Nurse said like the tackling in that specific game, right? This ain't the first time we've hopped on here either, right, Alex, and talked about the tackling, right? Cal talked about the tackling many different times. You talked about the tackling different times, right? Like obviously, the first thing that hit my mind, just making that connection with Nurse just said, the tackling again, right? Like if you can't tackle week 1, you damn sure can't tackle week 7, right? Like it's not gonna get better, right? And it's like almost like we also talked about there's no pit, right? But now take a step back. All right, there's no pit. Is it inside run? still? Do you still have that drill, right? Are we still doing that? Are we doing 909, right? Like, are we, you know what I mean? Like, are we still doing that? Like, obviously, I don't know, but it's like, that's a fundamental of tackling. Like, that's something that builds you, that gets you ready to go make these tackles in practice. Like, when you're going hard in practice and you got to run up on dudes and fit them up, like, and actually fit them up, right? Like, not just the little,
Yeah.
tag them off at the hip and let them ride
Mm-hmm.
on, you know what I mean? Now they feel like they done
Mm-hmm.
ran 20 yards on you or something like that. You'd be like, bro, that's 2 yards, right? Like,
Exactly.
versus, like, are we still doing those things? And you got to think about it a little bit, because, like, we've been talking about tackling for weeks, right? We ain't
Exactly.
this ain't the game where it's like, okay, they just out physical us and they just wanted more. We've talked about tackling week in and week out. So it's like, all right, now I got to look at how are we practicing? Like, what drills have we taken out that we used to do years ago versus what we're doing now? Because you took something away like the pit. So I got to think in my head that you've now minimized certain other drills that may have helped with tackling that probably wasn't the overall best for us in practice, but it did show up on game day. So
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that a little bit, I used to like that stuff, like the 909 and all that stuff. That stuff was important because I used to tell people like, bro, I had to hit somebody that was 235 pounds every single practice. I had to fit this man up, like Zach. Like, remember you used to tell us like, hey, if it's me and you in the hole, like you know what's up, like don't hold
I
back.
ran
You feel me?
Byrd.
Because I'm coming too. Hey,
I ran
and we
Byrd
had
ass
that
over one day.
understanding. Hmm. We had that understanding, and I'm just like, and then I get in the game, and I'm going against somebody who I don't know. They might be 5'10", 195. It's like, man, what you definitely not him. But it's the mind. It built that mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, if I'm doing this, if I'm fitting this guy up every day, and they not him, yeah, it's gonna be a long game for this person. And it was. It showed up. Our defense in 2019 was it.
But
It spoke for itself.
going against, and to your point, like, it is mindset. Like, in like 19, especially, right? Because that was when that defense was just overall just at its highest peak, right?
One of the best in school history for sure.
Yeah, like 18, we were pretty good. But 19, it was everything just was there. And it was like more purpose than the 18 team. Like, the purpose was higher.
Mhm.
Like you said, like, when I went against that defense, like, I knew I didn't have to play no defense like that defense. You know what I mean? Like, we had, I think, 8 or 9 dudes drafted on that defense. Like, I didn't have to worry about playing no defense in the Pac-12 that had 8, 9 dudes, right? Or 10, 11 dudes that ended up going to the NFL. Like, I didn't have to worry about that. Like, I was never worried about that. So, like, in practice, especially in camp, like, man, if I could block a Devin Lloyd, like, I had to block Lloyd before he became Devin Lloyd, right? Like, I had to block Cody Barr. You talking about dudes NFL currently still doing what they're doing, right? Like, or like chip block the Bradley and now, or run between the A gap with Lecky, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things like that, right? Like, I never had to worry about, oh, they ain't got nobody in that interior like this dude. They ain't got nobody on this edge that's gonna try to pull up a corner and make a tackle, right? They ain't got no backers, right? Like, I'm like, okay, if I can beat these dudes over here in practice and do something here and there, I'm not worried about when we gotta go play a Stanford. I'm not worried about when we gotta go play a UCLA, damn show, right? Like anybody, like those different teams that didn't have just a super, super really good defense. Like, you never had to worry about that. So it's like, it is the mindset. It's like, okay, it's iron sharpens iron. Like, and we had those drills in practice that allowed that to happen, right? Like, and when dudes miss tackles, and I will say these dudes have done a good job to what I've seen. Obviously, the accountability on the sideline. Like, I've been on the sideline every game outside of the Wyoming game and the UCLA game. And they do have fire. They got some passion on the sideline. Obviously, you're going to have some few dudes that have that, right? But, like, it's not to say they don't. It's just, I don't know. It's not translating all the way yet. Like, I know the BYU game, I want to say it was Parker on the sideline. He was tearing into dudes on the sideline. Like, and I never had to do that. One, that was in my personality, but I never had to do that as a player to no team, high school, college, NFL, no matter what. Like, I never had to, like, go and bark at offensive line, the receivers, tight end, whatever it may be, right? Like, never had to worry about that. And when you got to do that, right? That's telling me that everybody's not right here right now. Everybody's not playing here.
Mm-hmm.
People playing, you know what I mean? Like, they playing, sure, because you don't want to get punked out here. But, like, oh, you're not playing how I'm trying to play, right? And as a back, I'm seeing him go at, the offensive line and stuff like that. And we talked about how the offensive line has been so damn good, right? Like, shit, the offensive lines that I had, nobody ever talked about him being this damn good, right? And I still got to see this dude getting hit. I'm seeing him. I'm watching because I'm, nursing. You on the sideline. The best view is be behind this ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching this ball. I'm behind the ball. I'm watching. I'm like, I'm seeing him get stuffed at 1 yard, and he can't fall forward. So that means ain't nobody.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
This shit is getting stalemated. As soon as he hit that line of scrimmage, he's running into the back of dudes. And I already know, like, as a back, bro, I'll be pissed, right? Like, I can't even fall forward for 3. Like, you telling me ain't not one of the 5?
I can't even get no dirty yards.
Like, I can't get to 2nd and 7. Like, it's 2nd and 9. Oh, this run dead. This whole drive, unless we get a first down, this run the ball is dead. This drive, right?
Exactly.
So it's like seeing that, I'm like, damn, you shouldn't be seeing that when you got the type of offensive line they do. But to parlay into the Colorado game, like, they got a good week, got a good chance this week to get things back. Right, like, they played 2 really good teams in the conference. BYU is a really good team at the end of the day, like, and they had a chance to win that game, right? Tech is a good team, right? And as a player, you should be like, damn, we lost to Tech, but ASU beat Tech, but we beat the crap out of ASU, right? So, like, there's still some, not to take moral victories, but there's still some good stuff there that you can take home, right? And Colorado isn't a bad team at all, right? Like, their record is what it is, but they're not a bad team. It's like, like when you had to go play the Browns. The Browns are not a bad team. Like, they look bad because the record is always bad, but, man, look at it. When you play them Browns, that might be the hardest game you play that year. Like, shit is hard. Like, they'll be 2-10. You like, oh yeah, cook these. Nope, none of that. Like, it's hard to beat them.
They come to play.
Like, they come to play. So, like, Colorado's gonna come to play. They coach well with Deion and all that type of stuff. But, like, they only lost the 3 points to BYU. Right? Mm-hmm. So, if anything, that's a small indicator of what this week is gonna be. It's not gonna be a kick or park, walk in the park. It's gonna be a nice battle between 2 teams for sure. They got a lot to prove still. They still fighting. They try to get the 6 wins to hopefully get into a bowl game, and we still fighting to, be who we is, to say who he is.
Utah could still potentially run the table. I mean, I've seen national guys that are not always the highest on Utah that have flat out said, like, even after this game, Utah very easily could end up 10-2.
Yeah, we got a chance.
So I don't expect that, right? I still expect them to lose a game or 2 that might be head scratchers, just ones that you just wouldn't necessarily think of, right? And you mentioned Colorado, and yeah, I mean they hung tight with BYU, and that to me was kind of shocking, but at the same time too, it shows you the level of team that they can be, the potential that they have. The unique thing with me, okay, so every Monday when they send out the game press release, it runs through like the national rankings of where they're at per categories, right? They were in the top 5 of the Big 12 in 3 categories. One of them was a special teams one. Okay. Outside of that, they had that same special teams one was like 23rd overall in the country. It was something with kickoff. Outside of that, the next best ranking they had in anything was 41. So, if Devon can't go, which that's what we fully expect, it's gonna make it that much more of a game. It's tough to know what to expect from a true freshman quarterback, right, guys?
Yeah.
But Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good competitive game. Colorado's better than what a lot of their stuff shows. You got not just Deion as a great coach, you got guys like Warren Sapp and plenty of others that are good that have been around the block, right? So one thing I want to ask you guys, and we can kind of kick into predictions and a couple over unders and get out of here, right? But with Deion, kind of a unique experiment when he first started coaching. Obviously, made the move over to Colorado. They've had semi-success, right? On the football field. What's your take on the Deion experiment? What's your take on Deion now without his sons and Travis Hunter? And is what he has going on with that group sustainable at a quality level?
I think I do think it's sustainable, but it for him is definitely going to depend a lot on his ability to recruit in the future. Um, he has a lot of uproar in terms of, it started that way when he first got hired there with the transfer portal and all of that stuff, with him telling people to jump in the portal and him being brutally honest with people, about being in the portal. But I think his ability to recruit is what's going to determine a lot of his success, because if you can get good players, everybody wants to play for a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't want to play for multiple Hall of Famers on that staff, if we're being honest? But I think that's kind of going to be very contingent upon his success, is his ability to recruit.
Yeah. Zach, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's still got another 3 years there to where he can turn something around. I think he's bigger than Colorado at the end of the day, especially when you talk about his main thing is his health, right? Like, he's had a lot of different things, so that aspect of it's like, okay, it can either speed up certain things or it can just continue to just put him in a halt where he's just like, all right, I can't coach no more and do this and whatever, right? But I think got like a couple more years definitely at Colorado, to where I think, like they said, like the recruiting, NIL stuff, he got people there that back him, right? Like he's not in a place where where it's going to be hard to get funds. Like they will put the money where they need to put it to give him an opportunity in that conference or whatever. I mean, they didn't have just have the quarterback that was the number one quarterback last year, right?
Yep.
Like, so he's done it twice, right? Like, you got the Travis Hunter kid, obviously, from when JSU, and they came over there, and then now you get this dude fresh out of high school, right? Like, so imagine what he can do the next year or two. Like, this year, obviously not been so well. Different. It's a whole different overhaul of what you got going on. But next year, I expect them to be a little bit better. They fight hard. Like, none of these games, they're just getting blown out. Like, that can be, that obviously is looked at like, okay, what's the age? Like how young is this team, right? X, Y, and Z. Is these guys, you're talking about true freshman quarterbacks, true freshmen over here. You got maybe a guy who hasn't played a ton over here, right? Like, those things come with time. So I give him a few more years. He definitely, I think, has the opportunity to be in the college football playoffs at Colorado, and that's really all he needs one time to take that program from nothing to something and get to a playoff berth somehow, and then he can shoot off into another big school, right? Because everybody knows it's gonna happen. Like, it ain't gonna be. It is not. No, he's not staying at Colorado this entire time, however long he coaches. So, and that's why I say, like, they're a good team. Like, it ain't gonna be. Utah's not gonna be able, like, Coach Witt and those guys. We talked about how they got out coached last week, right? At BYU, it's like this coaching staff is really good at the same time too, right? So you can't get out coached again, especially at home, in another conference game where you only won like 2 conference games in 2 years, right? So, like, it's a lot riding on this game at the end of the day. Like, I don't care that they 2-4. Like, you got to go out there and handle business and coach a certain type of a way at the same time. Like, you got to coach like your ass on fire versus this type of a team, because imagine if, we come on here next week, they, after a loss to Colorado at 2-4, shit.
That's gonna be bad.
Man.
gonna be
I'm
real
not gonna
bad.
go on Twitter. I'm not going on Twitter. If they lose and somehow they do that.
Josh, he said a number, man. How much does that sting? 2 wins, 2 home wins. Is it 2 or is it 1, Zach?
It's
In the Big
2
12.
because they beat Arizona State last week.
Yeah.
I want to say they won one last year. I would hope, right? I would assume
You
they
can't
won.
remember.
I can't remember who they beat last year because I didn't really pay much attention. This year I paid a lot more, but they beat ASU at home this year, and then shit, I don't know. So I'm gonna just go ahead and hope it's 2. I'm gonna give us that.
Man, either way,
In 2 years.
yeah,
Either number
that
is inexcusable.
yeah,
So
that's unheard of.
All right. So over unders, then you guys just go ahead and give me a quick score prediction, then we'll be out of here. All right. So all right. So I'm just gonna say it's a Byrd Ficklin game. Again, I mean, Devon could be back, but we saw how bad it was looking, right? So when it comes down to it, I do think that the running backs are gonna need to step up a little bit more on this one. Over and Brave went above last game, right? So over under 100 yards for Utah's leading running back rusher.
I'll go under.
I'm gonna say over
Okay.
for
I'm
the
gonna
simple
go
fact that
over.
they're gonna rely on him a lot. So it's that kind of game. I don't see like Zach said, you can't pass the ball. The past few games, it ain't nothing for to just drastically change. So I think over.
Yeah. I'm gonna go over because Colorado's rush defense is 103rd in the country.
Shit, I might need to change.
Oh,
I'm gonna stay under just because I said it first. I had that stat. So I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
There you go. We'll justify it by you saying that it's Byrd that goes over, right? There you go. But no, I saw that and I was pretty floored.
Damn.
So yeah. Over under Utah getting 2 turnovers this game, which I was floored they did not last game.
I'll say over. I'll say over. They've had a little bit of QB struggle. Obviously, the true freshman started sometimes. I don't know if he started right now, but I know they pulled him one game, something like that. So Coach Scally can dial up a nice little blitz, and we've been getting home. There was a stat I saw the other day, but we've been getting home without having to bring the blitz and just rushing forward at a high level. So I'll give us 2 turnovers for sure because shit, we're gonna have to make short field for the offense to be able to be as efficient because you don't want to keep asking. I don't want to ask Byrd, right, who's the unofficial starter, but I don't want to ask him to take us on 75, 80-yard drives too many times. So it's going to be an emphasis on getting that ball out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
No, I was gonna say over as well. I think over. I think if they're pissed off in the right way from last game, then they come out with that tenacity, like I was saying. They'll find a way to get some turnovers because the kid 23, what's his last name? Benny. Yeah, he's a ball hawk. I like him. Colorado is more of a passing attack team, so I like that. I think I like the over on that.
I'm gonna go over just because that defense, when they play pissed off, good things happen. All right, guys. Lastly, over under 200 yards passing for Byrd.
Under.
Yeah.
Just because I think they don't want to overload him. You don't want to give him
they're
too
gonna
much.
rely
You
on
want
the
to keep
run.
it simple for him. Yeah, you just keep it simple for him.
Yeah, they're gonna rely on the run. So same with you, Zack. So
yeah, I was gonna go under regardless. That's just what I was gonna do.
yeah.
But I had to look up the stats for Dampier and see how many times he's went over 200, right? And he went over 200 3 times over 35 attempts though, right?
Oof.
So he's thrown the ball 35 times minimum just to get over the 200. He went over 200 BYU. He went over 200 at West Virginia, which don't really count. This is what it is, right? And then he went over 200 Wyoming, which also don't really count, right?
Yeah.
So like when we've played the way I judge players, right? Like the way I not judge, but the way I critique players is who you playing matter to me. Like I would have never hung my hat on, oh shit, I had 100 or 20 yards versus SUU or some shit, right? Like I would have never even cared about that, like at all. Like I wouldn't even watch that, right? But if I had 200 versus Oregon or somebody over here, oh yeah, I whooped y'all ass because I know the talent on that side of that ball is NFL talent at the same time, right? So for me, I'm going under regardless, but I'm damn sure going under. I might go under 150 just to make it.
They're going to rely a lot on the run game this game. I agree with you guys. So, okay. And then Josh, let's get your score prediction real quick. And if your phone dies, man, and we'll be out of here. And we appreciate the hell out of you jumping on this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely plan on being back on more episodes because, I've been looking for, the right podcast to get on to talk with some real football minds. But my score prediction for this game, I'm going to take the under. Usually the over and under of these games is like 40, 44 points or something like that. I'm going to take the under on that, and the score prediction for me it'd probably be 21-17. I think Utah pulls it out.
Perfect. Zach?
Score prediction, I give us 28. Back at home, I'll give us 28 because I'm banking on defense giving a short field position. So I'll give us 28. I'll go 28-17. I think we can do some things, so I'll go 28-17.
Okay. I was going to say 27 initially, so I'm going to go right in between you guys. I'm going to say I'll go 24-13 Utah. And it's Byrd leading it. It's Byrd leading the Utes to the victory in his first career start. It's not official. That's just what we're assuming. We all saw what it looked like, and we all, can kind of read between the lines when it comes to everything with Whittingham. We've been around him long enough. So, yeah. All right, guys. Zach, as always, how do we close these?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in and rocking with us. Make sure you guys continue to like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube. And if you're getting your dose of our pod right here on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you continue to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. And as always, go Utes.
Appreciate you guys.
Utes.
Welcome to the players' lounge. Yeah. When all the moment, man, it can't compare. Due to the obvious, people look at me and then they envious. And they the ones that be grinning and acting the friendliest.